Hello, everybody. Happy Star Trek Tuesday. It is time for The Main Viewer, and we are so happy that you are here. If you can't tell how happy we are, just look at Melissa's face. The rest of us look a little, I was looking around and we're like, hey, yeah, sounds great. But Melissa's actually fully happy right now. So we've got a lot of news to talk about, everybody. So much to cover. Star Trek Day is coming up in 10 short days by my count. Also, Strange New Worlds is in the news. Star Trek Prodigy is in the news every day until we get the news that we are looking for, or should I say, for which we are looking. There's some Star Trek Picard news and the Seventh Rule news that's connected to that. Lower Decks is also 9 days away now, actually. So much to discuss, everybody. Thank goodness Melissa Longo is here to discuss it with us.
So happy to be here. The band's back together. Yay! You love
That's true. She is referring to Dr. Mohammed Noor, who's here, because it feels like you haven't been here in a few weeks.
Yeah, the last time I was on was in July. I'm sorry. It's been a long
time. July, man. No.
Great to be back on Virtual Trek Cons, The Main Viewer. Yay.
Tom, are you here?
So great having you back. Look, everybody, Anne-Marie's waiting patiently. She's like, I know he's going to come to me next. She is our resident web crawler. She's also a doctor. Her name is Anne-Marie Siegel.
Hi. Because that's excited for Star Trek Day. I'm like, let's get moving.
Agreed. And my name is Ryan T. Husk. I'm wearing a Ryza and Chill shirt. That's, you can tell it's green because it's picking up my green screen right here. But don't you want Captain Picard showing just the right amount of thigh cleavage, leaning on a Horgon statue? Looks really cool. You can get it in any color, just about, and any size. I chose whatever this is, like marine blue or something like that, because it feels like I'm in the island tropics. Melissa Longo is also wearing a shirt that you could get at the Star Trek and Chill online store. It's the family, the Ferengi family. You could get my shirt or Melissa's shirt in any color or size. The link in the description box below, click on the link below. It's the Shopify Star Trek and Chill shirt link. And you can also get candles and mugs and all kinds of great stuff. That's the best way to support this show, I bet, besides liking this video, subscribing to the channel, giving it a 5-star rating if you're listening in, and the comments, leave reviews, all that good stuff. Also, Dr. Noor is wearing a shirt that Melissa Longo made. You can get that chat pack shirt.
It's awesome.
You can get that chat pack shirt at theintrovertedrepublic.com and just click on Walking Art made by Melissa. That's the fun stuff.
Just okay, not interrupt, but do a little add-on. I just Facebook messaged a picture to you of some amazing merch that I feel like also needs to be shared at this junction.
Ooh. All right, everybody. So stay tuned for that.
While we're showing amazing merch.
All right. So this is our good buddy, Justin Weir, wearing his brand new Seventh Rule apron. He's piking it up. He's cooking. He's got weaponry in one hand. So tongs and a knife.
Aww.
Oh, and he's got a really cool spice rack back there. Nice rack.
Yeah.
So if you want a Seventh Rule apron of your own, just go to the Seventh Rule Teespring store. Just go to Teespring or spring.com and search for the Seventh Rule. You can get your very own apron and look super sexy like Justin. Right, Anne-Marie?
Looks like he's ready to make some serious food.
He is. And he's holding tongs, which in French is how they actually pronounce thongs.
That's fun.
Tong. Anyway. That got weird. So we'll get into the news. Hello to Glenn Iverson, Fran Iverson, Volk, hello, Dave Gregory, Bob D, Kyle Gray Young, hello, Chris Marshall, the Matt Boardman is here, Robert Kaiser is staying up late, Chris Gavin, what's up? All of you, we see you. And we thank you all for joining us and everybody else that we haven't named yet. Back of the head from screenrant.com. That's John Orchiola. Wanda MV. All right. So I guess we'll just jump into it. Everybody remember, please like this video, give it a 5-star rating if you're listening in, and please subscribe. That is as good as frickin' Latinum.
And can I shout out Matt Borgman for this awesome background? I love the colors.
Really cool.
Yes.
Matt Boardman makes all of these backgrounds for us, and they look incredible. Thank you, Melissa. Good
Is this
point.
the Star Trek Day, like, official poster? Is it?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, partially, kind of, yeah. But you'll have to ask Matt Boardman directly where exactly he got every little bit of this. But I'm sure he will be the first to tell you out. And he also built in this main viewer screen that was originally made by Scott Baker, our good buddy Scott Baker. So anyway, now for the news. Rose Kirby in Derby, we see you. First things first, everybody. This is from, what do you know? This is from screenrant.com. Written by John Orchiola. That's back of the head in the live chat right now. And it reads, actually, Dr. Noor, would you like to read this one?
I'd be happy to. It's been too
Oh,
long.
what a deal. It has.
Star Trek Picard showrunner Terry Matalas reveals there was a plan to include Jake Cisco, played by Cirroc Lofton from Star Trek Deep Space Nine in Season 3. A sequel to Star Trek The Next Generation, Picard Season 3 was also steeped in DS9 lore, with the Changelings led by Captain Vadic, played by Amanda Plummer, serving as primary villains. Jake Cisco, the son of DS9's Captain Benjamin Sisko, played by Avery Brooks, could have had a natural role to play in Picard Season 3's conspiracy about changelings infiltrating Starfleet.
As soon as I hear conspiracy, I think of that Next Generation episode.
You're obsessed. Have you been taken over?
Maybe.
Let's
Let me check
it.
your neck.
Yeah. Jinx.
I'm all clear.
Speaking
There's
of
no,
Which is my favorite Star Trek Las Vegas cosplay, when people just like have one little thing on their neck.
oh my God, that is brilliant.
So funny.
People have done that. That's so good.
Yeah.
They should walk around with little tube grub bowls too. Ew, so gross.
So it continues. Here it is.
Here. I wasn't sure if you're about to read. I can do it. Appearing on the Seventh Rule podcast, Terry Matalas told hosts Cirroc Lofton and Ryan T. Husk about his aborted plan to include Jake Cisco in Star Trek Picard Season 3, after Cirroc mused about how Jake, who is a writer and a journalist, could have fit into certain scenes in Picard Seasons 1 and 3. Read Matalas's quote and watch the Seventh Rule video, with the conversation starting at the 12-minute 5-second timestamp below. We had many Jake conversations in the Season 3 writers' room, and one of the ideas was, because Season 3 is a conspiracy and people like Ro Laren and our heroes realizing the changelings have infiltrated Starfleet, there's a moment actually when Ro Laren says, "I even tried going to the press." That was Jake Cisco. We didn't have the money mostly to do it, for set reasons, but you would cut to Jake Cisco, this journalist, who's starting to put together, whose specialty is Starfleet because of, obviously, his background, and that's his focus. He's realizing weird blank going on. Things are being reported, but then dismissed. Oops.
Oops.
He's covering Frontier Day, but there's lots of things about it that don't make sense. And as he goes down the rabbit hole, he starts to figure out what's up.
So what is up? How cool would it be if they had a C plot, let's say, of Jake Cisco piecing things together, just kind of like looking around saying, hey, this doesn't add up. Let me talk to my connections, as they say. I think that's journalists speak. What do they call sources? Oh, they talk to sources. Ooh, boy, sources say, and then something juicy. So, yeah, do you think Jake Cisco's podcast would be called Sources Say?
Ooh, that's brilliant.
Ooh.
I love that.
Anne Marie's looking like, I bet that's already taken.
Yeah, I'm
She's
just thinking like,
that's fun.
ooh, I wonder if any better to be done. No, I was trying to think like, would I preferred they name dropped him or just keep it as press? Because part of me is like, a name drop would have been so cool if not having him. But then at the same time, like Jake Cisco would have not dropped this. He would have like pursued it independently. So I guess then I kind of like that he wasn't name dropped. I don't know. Can't decide.
To add to that, and very quickly, quick Google tells me that yes, Sources Say podcast is already taken. Of course. Say It With Me by Kentucky Sports Radio. Obviously, that's just gonna be.
Oh my gosh.
What about according to sources?
Ooh.
Well,
It's a
we'll
good
just
bu-
have to
variant.
Google
I like
that
it.
one as well, I guess. Let's see. That one is on Spotify. Merger Masters podcast. According, it's Michael Samuels.
Oh,
This is getting weird. I don't know. So I don't even know if that's like business
These are all my
or.
marketing news.
So I want to jump onto what you were saying, Anne Marie, about if they just mentioned Jake Cisco. That would be cool for all of us, except that number one, obviously Sirach would not get paid for something like that, but it has the slight possibility of maybe negating a future role in Star Trek. Like if they say, for example, Jake Cisco is out on Jupiter Station for the last 20 years working on something, then it would mean like if there's say Lower Decks, which takes place before Picard, or Prodigy, which takes place before Picard, they wanted to have Jake Cisco. Now they're like, oh, great. Well, we have to go to Jupiter Station for that, or you know what I mean? So it's entirely possible, not terribly likely, but it's entirely possible that a name drop like that could at least create problems. We'd rather just have him be like full season arc.
If he's a reporter on site, then he's probably going to a lot of places. So assuming he keeps that role where he's actually going on site, should be okay. But yeah, you're right. There is a possibility it could get limited.
Yep. So everybody in the live chat right now and in the comments below, let me close my blinds. Like I have a sinister mustache.
Light mustache.
You cheat your mustache.
Everybody in the live chat below, or in the comments below, or in the live chat, let us know, what would Jake Cisco's podcast be called if he were to do his journalism podcast or a writer's podcast? Maybe he's just a novelist. What would his podcast be called, and what would he be covering or talking about? All right, that's a fun one, if I do say so myself.
ZZTH.
I was about to say that ZZTH just popped in.
Our favorite. Hello, ZZTH. Let's continue along with this article here. By the way, that was on the Seventh Rule podcast. Seventh Rule did a season 3 of Picard review special. So we talked about and reviewed all of season 3, kind of revisited, reviewed it. Of course, there was a little bit of a mention of season 1 and 2 here and there, but it was focused on season 3 with the showrunner, Terry Matalas, giving us tons of juicy morsels and tidbits and secrets. So do yourself a favor, go back to the Seventh Rule YouTube channel after this video, or after you're listening to this episode, and just go watch that video, because Terry Matalas tells us so many cool things that we had no idea about, especially things like Jake Cisco's potential involvement, and he goes deep into it. But
I also loved it because like he talked about like Picard a little bit in entirety, like 1 leading to 2 leading to 3, and how like Patrick Stewart's stance changed on bringing back characters over time, so that like that evolution led to us getting season 3. So like very fun hearing him talk about it in the entirety and not necessarily just like one honed topic. So I loved it. Great interview. I watched it like 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like a record low for you. So this article continues, Muhammad, if you will.
Happy to.
Here it is.
Cute.
Did we already do that part? Maybe not. But that was like its own series. Once we started talking about it, we were like, we can't do it. What I did when it was all over was I pitched it as a podcast. I pitched it as Jake Covers Frontier Day. Hopefully, we'll bring Jake back someday. We'll get another bite at the apple.
Yum. Apple Podcast.
That
Cosmic
apple?
Listens.
Cosmic Crisp.
Yum.
Best
My
guy.
favorite TOS episode.
Oh, yeah.
So there's more to this, everybody. So it's really going in depth here, and check out the rest of this article. This portion reads, what is Jake Cisco's Star Trek future, if you would, Dr. Noor?
Sure. Jake Cisco remains one of the most popular characters from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, who fans feel could easily and naturally appear in the new Star Trek series on Paramount+. Jake didn't follow his father, Captain Cisco, into Starfleet, but this is actually an advantage, as Jake's career as a writer and journalist could potentially slot him into different types of stories. As Sirach Lofton pointed out to Terry Metalis on The Seventh Rule, Jake could have been the reporter grilling Admiral Picard in Star Trek Picard Season 1's premiere, and it would have been fun for Jake to question Jean-Luc at 10 forward in Picard Season 3's flashbacks. Jake investigating the Changelings Frontier Day conspiracy also makes perfect sense.
Now,
Okay.
I can't be the only one. I feel like everybody must have thought that in the first episode of Star Trek Picard Season 1, they actually had a reporter grilling Picard.
Mhm.
And I remember just going like, you guys, do you need Sirach's phone number? He can play this. Now, of course, it was kind of a smaller role, so maybe they wanted to save it, save using Jake Cisco for something bigger, which is great, provided they do end up giving him something bigger than that, because it would be kind of a bummer if they just use him for one scene. But
Right.
we all thought it.
Although it could work that Jake Cisco is the one cussing out Picard because he was Locutus. And there is history back there
Yeah.
with the death of his mom.
Great point, Melissa.
But
Mhm.
Matt
He needs a
Boardman
bigger
here
part.
says Jake Cisco's show should just be called The Seventh Rule. I'd be like, oh yeah.
That's
Obviously,
true.
that is perfect.
Yeah.
Back of the head's comment, only murders on Frontier Day.
Oh,
Mm.
I like
Only
that.
murders
Oh,
on the
wait,
station.
speaking of,
Yeah.
Scott Bakula got a reference in today's episode.
oh, I haven't watched it yet.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So
Oh, in
the-
today's episode of Only Murders in the
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what episode?
seen it
What
yet.
episode dropped?
Oh my god, it's such a good episode.
Only Murders on the station too is one. But yeah, the Seventh Rule. I think the simplest
That's the
answer
alternate
is
title for Mandalorian.
that would be pretty cool. But that would be pretty cool. Can you imagine if they have a Jake Cisco show and but then if they called it the Seventh Rule, what would we
the
do?
rules of- it was the rules of acquisition. But yeah. Oh well, what would you do? I mean, you can have a podcast that's named.
Well, we
the
wouldn't
same
be
as a show.
the first podcast whose name's been
Yeah.
stolen
Strange New
or
Worlds.
used.
This is
right.
true.
Good call,
There are
Strange
quite a
New Worlds.
few. There are quite a few, actually.
Mhm.
The Ready Room.
There Strange New Worlds. There's Shuttle Pod, right?
Mhm.
The Ready
um,
Room.
The Ready Room. Yeah, we should just be glad that nobody's tried to take our name yet. All right.
Well, yeah.
Kind of a bummer.
Star
But
Trek
that,
Containment.
it wouldn't make sense unless it was a Ferengi taking it, because it is based on the rules of acquisition. So
True. So let's read the rest of this here article by John Orchiola of ScreenRant.com.
I like
There you go,
Cisco's
sir.
Creole podcast.
ooh,
Ooh,
yeah.
that's a tough one to take.
Yeah.
Like smooth jams. And what do you call it? Like swamp rock? Well, I don't remember what.
Mountain oysters. I don't know. A Jake Cisco comeback is something fans and Sirach Lofton are evidently ready for. Very true. Jake could appear in Star Trek Picard Season 3's proposed spin-off, Star Trek Legacy, but Lofton could also easily voice Jake in Star Trek Prodigy and Star Trek Lower Decks, and the latter show already visited Deep Space Nine in Season 3. Of course, a Star Trek Deep Space Nine reunion project is what Sirach has said he would prefer the most. Perhaps Terry Metalis' Jake Cisco podcast idea can come to fruition and open the door for live action Jake to return to Star Trek.
Well,
So-
we know that he and Mariner are friends from when she was on Deep Space Nine.
This is true.
When you were reading that, Mohammed, I know I experienced this live when I was talking with Terry and Sirach, but when you're reading it, I kind of get a different perspective. And you know how there's been a Star Trek Picard. Clearly, we all know that. And a lot of people try to clamor for, a Star Trek Cisco, for example. So what if Star Trek Cisco didn't look like, hey, the emissary is back because maybe Avery Brooks maybe doesn't want to come back for 3 seasons of Star Trek. Who knows?
Fair.
But what if Star Trek Cisco is about the search for Cisco?
Ooh.
I was
So you
thinking
have-
it could involve Will Wheaton.
You could have Jake Cisco, sure, Will Wheaton, Cassidy Yates,
Mhm.
maybe
Meet his
maybe Major
half-
Kira.
half sibling.
Absolutely, yeah. The kid would be
Soji's with Will Wheaton too, so. Or not Soji, I guess it's the other version of Soji, wasn't it? It's
Dodge.
the one- No, the third one. The one from
Cora.
season 2. Core, I think that's right. I
Core.
think-
It's a
something
lot
like
of
that, yeah.
names.
yeah.
Corey. Is it
Cora.
Corey?
Or maybe it's Corey.
I think it's
Yeah, I
Corey.
can't remember.
I think it was Cora.
I thought it
Apple,
spelled like
Apple Cora.
Corey.
Maybe. I don't remember
Yeah.
now.
Corey.
Corey.
Yeah,
I think it was Corey.
that sounds right.
I know it's
DJ
spelled
Kitty Cats is
K.
Kore, but I don't remember
Yeah.
the pronunciation.
That's what I think. Yeah. Anyway, so it would be Star Trek: The
Lord.
Search for Cisco or something like that, right? That could be really cool, and that would be the Deep Space Nine reunion. It wouldn't just be like everything happened on Deep Space Nine, but Jake Cisco would be pulling in favors from all of
Mhm.
these different friends and people we've met. He and Morn would take on the galaxy together. Morn's a great interview.
Oh yeah. Can't stop talking.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, good.
All right. So everybody in the live chat. Glenn Iverson says Jake's take. That's a great one. Brent Harris says remembering Nog. I'm not quite sure what you're referencing there, but we're always happy to remember Nog and bring him up every single time anybody mentions him. Shout out to Mr. Aaron Eisenberg.
Mhm.
Kyle Gray Young says the 9th rule. That's interesting.
I don't remember what that was.
And we got to look that up.
You
Somebody
really
tell
know
us.
your rules.
Somebody look up the 9th rule and tell us what it is. Cisco's Creole podcast. Okay, cool. Brent Harris says, what about Jake being a galaxy reporter while piloting that space sailing ship? You'd have plenty of time for his writing.
Got it.
9th rule?
Opportunity plus instinct equals profit.
I
don't
like
know if that
opportunity and
works.
instinct for finding Cisco.
Yeah.
But yeah, for a
Although-
podcast, if he's trying to have a successful podcast.
I think seventh
Mhm.
rule because Jake literally learns to just keep his ears open on the station, and that's why he hears everything.
That's true.
So
Okay. Well, that's really cool. So, of course, that's been going around for the last few days because that was such a great discussion. It was nice to revisit and review season 3 as a whole, which the 7th rule had never done. And, we really wanted to kind of close the book on Picard that way. Opportunity.
Glenn.
Glenn Iverson says
Yeah.
opportunity plus instinct equals profit with the ET, not with the
Yeah.
IT.
Oh,
So he can find Ben
Okay.
Cisco.
that's
that
good.
rocket.
No, that was Tama.
That Was that a kitty or a baby?
That was a kitty.
It sounded like a baby on the playground or something. That's what I
It has
thought I
a
heard.
Very interesting meow.
Like those goats that sound like people screaming. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Those guys. All right. Back to work, everybody. Wait a minute. Matt Boardman says, I was going to say Jake's Bakes. I'm not sure where we're going with this.
It does sound like a dispensary name.
Jake's Wake and Bakes. Yeah.
And I helped.
All right. Anyway, so let us move forward to the next item up for bid. Shout out to Mr. Bob Barker. Rest in peace to Mr. Bob Barker, who made it to, as a few people have mentioned, including John Orchiola, that he made it as close to 100 without going over. Shout out to Bob Barker, who passed away at 99. All right. Next, a quick bit of news. Stop me if you've heard this one before. It is some Strange New Worlds news. Strange New Worlds continues to rank in the streaming top 10. What is this again? Episode 207, Those Old Scientists, ranked.
This is the episode that 2 episodes came. This might be the week that 2 episodes came out. So I think it also like reflects that.
True. Good point. There's more content.
Yeah.
What do you mean reflect how?
Remember, so that's like one question. Like, I just don't know if they're just looking at the title, like 2 episodes came out.
No, because look right here, it says episode number 17. So this is specifically for 17.
Oh.
And it looks like 208, which is
that's for how many episodes exist of the thing, right? I don't know.
Right. So 17 would be episode 7.
Okay.
So 208 would be Under the Cloak of War, moved up to 9th place on the chart. Oh no, okay. So anyway, so yeah, I guess 208 did not make the cut, but 207 did.
208 was a Saturday.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. It's very
207
complicated.
was a Saturday. It is complicated.
It was such a good episode.
Like 6 and 7, I think.
So I wonder if episode 208 will make it on to the following week.
Oh no.
Oh yeah,
they're
here it
both
is.
On the,
Yeah.
So 6
Here
and
it
7
is.
came out the week before. And then yeah, okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
so
Sorry.
208 made it to number 9. So that's what is that? 6 out of 8 episodes of Strange New Worlds season 2 have now made it to the top 10 streaming. 6 out of 8 with 2 to go. That's pretty amazing.
2/3 of them. No, 6 out of 8.
Or
3/4.
just those
3/4.
episodes existing, like those weeks that episodes came out. Because I think they're just going by like hours for the title in that week. Because like some of the things on that thing didn't have new episodes that week. It's just, but like the weeks that those dropped, 6 of the 8 made it to the list, which is amazing.
That's awesome.
All right, so we've got a new poll hopping up.
Ooh.
There are 2 episodes remaining. And as you know, 6 out of the first 8 episodes made the top 10 in streaming, which is fantastic and shocking and breaking all Star Trek records. 2 episodes left. How many of those final 2 episodes of Strange New World season 2 will make the top 10 in streaming? Make sure to factor in
musical and cliffhanger ending.
There's
Make
one
sure to-
other factor in this, which is that this is Nielsen, I think, and they just started collecting streaming data like, I don't know what amount of time ago, but like it doesn't reflect, like, I don't think the first 2 seasons of Picard, things like that aren't necessarily reflected in it. So when you say like, this is only the second Star Trek series that's ever made it, I think it's just because other Star Trek series haven't been measured yet by this.
Also, I was going to say one more thing to add to that is that you got to factor in what other shows had big premieres or sporting events, because sometimes if you have an episode that makes top 10 and then another one the next week that doesn't, and you say, but that one was just as good or better, sometimes it's just because what else has been airing that week. And Glenn Iverson says, where'd it go? He says 99 barkers of Bob on the wall, 99 barkers. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tougher right now since Ahsoka just started too. I bet that's going to start drawing a lot of the same fans for the coming season or for the coming Lower Decks.
That's still a pretty dead time for TV otherwise for new things. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's totally going to make it. I guess so far I know of one person who has one of these new Nielsen boxes for streaming, and I keep yelling at him to watch Star Trek. So, everybody go find somebody who has like one of the Nielsen boxes and get on them.
I don't know if you were planning to share this article, but I think John also wrote an article just talking about whether like it would help Star Trek to have, something where it premieres at a time that's kind of middle of the evening as opposed to middle of the night. Something like for Ahsoka, for example, it's at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Interesting.
So everybody kind of watches it together. But when it's like 3 a.m. Eastern, like, okay.
Because we all do watch it together. But like I see how that's not appointment TV for most people in the world.
Yeah, that was the verbiage used, appointment TV.
That's interesting. Maybe we'll check out that article because it does help for, say, like YouTube algorithms. If everybody watches in that first hour, like everybody in the live chat right now, you are helping. Your views are counting as 2 or 3 views because it's like right at the very beginning, or at least in the algorithm, not technically speaking. And so it gives it a really good jump. And so it makes it more visible, in subsequent hours on YouTube. So I wonder if streaming services do that as well. If they cater to that first hour did really well, maybe they push it up higher up in their suggestions or something. Is that?
I wonder if there's like a FOMO aspect too, in the sense of like if it's at 9 p.m. Let's say for the HBO shows, they tended to be like 9 p.m. Sunday night. I would often watch them because I knew people would be talking about it on Monday. But if it's 3 a.m., like, okay, like maybe by the time I get to work, people will see it, maybe not. But then at that point, it's kind of like, do I watch it the next night? Maybe I've already missed, maybe people have already talked about it. You kind of missed that window of like everybody watched it kind of at the same time and they're all ready to talk about it the next day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's really interesting. Good topic to bring up there, Mohammed. We'll see if we can't find that article.
I just didn't like that it would mess up the live chat for the 7th Rule reviews on Thursday nights because it would obviously have to air like at 9 p.m. or something Eastern for everybody in the country to be able to watch it.
Yeah, that would be rude.
So I was biased.
Let's see if we can find that article very quickly.
I guess we're opposite Ahsoka tonight.
Well, we'll check it shortly.
9 p.m. Tuesdays.
Yeah. Ahsoka. Did they do their first episode? I saw it was all the rage.
They dropped 2 the first time, so I think the number 3 will come out now.
Oh, that's cute. So they're copying Star Trek Lower Decks.
There you go.
Yeah, Sex and the City.
Probably not. But all right. So anyway, that's really cool. That's from our good buddies over at trekmovie.com. Up next, check this out, everybody. This is, actually what we just mentioned on a website called twitter.com. Now, remember, everybody says, well, it's called X. Well, I don't know what it's called. I'm just saying right here, it says twitter.com.
I love Amanda Wong. First of all, I just have to say Amanda Wong's Twitter account is so good.
Yeah.
She does like some of the art, for a lot of the art for Lower Decks, and is based in Vancouver, which I think maybe has something to do with Vancouver having one of these Star Trek Day locations. But yeah, she's just such a great follow. So if you're not following her already, get on that.
So also look down here, what's trending? Star Trek Lower Decks. That's kind of
Yay.
cool.
Woohoo!
So yeah, Amanda Wong says she's a background artist in Vancouver. Projects include Star Trek Lower Decks, Rick and Morty, Carmen Sandiego, My Little Pony, the movie. So she seems to be a very cool and awesome follow, as Anne-Marie says. So she quote tweeted a tweet from Trek Central yesterday that reads, 10 days to go, but that was yesterday. So it's 9 days to go. Star Trek Lower Decks season 4 premiere is just 9 days away now, dropping Thursday, September 7th on Paramount Plus. Now hang on, isn't it two premieres, kind of, right? It's both episodes are dropping at the same time. Do we know?
Yes. That's not what's shown at the theaters. Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm saying which it's going to be 2 episodes dropping on Thursday,
Yes.
September 7th on Paramount Plus, right? Do we know if they're actually just going to drop both episodes simultaneously, or if there's going to be an hour or two in between, or does anybody know anything?
It's 3 a.m., right? Sorry.
Not for us. The nerds on the West Coast, we watch them at 7 or at 11:07 p.m. because they always drop like an hour, 50 minutes early.
Yeah.
So like every time other shows do it, they on the same day they just drop both immediately. So I would assume. But I love that every time she gives a little spoiler about how excited she is to be working on a specific episode, it always ends up being like an amazing, outstanding, like universe-shaking episode. So I was like, ooh, now I'm listening. Like, she has great Star Trek taste.
That is interesting. What are you guys most looking forward to with respect to Lower Decks season 4?
Cameos.
The start.
What did you say, Lisa? A start?
The start of it. Yay.
What about you, Mohammed?
Didn't Talin get introduced at the end of last season?
End of 2, and then they had already written 3, but they realized how great she was and wanted to bring her
But
back.
I thought they hinted her, didn't they? Or did we just see her in a trailer? I thought they hinted her, right?
They did hint her
That's what I was saying. I thought there was something about Talin, but I wasn't positive.
for season 4.
For season 4. Oh yeah, she's back in season 4.
Is she? Okay, great. Awesome. That'd be cool. More Vulcans. Yay.
I know.
It would be great to have
patch that's like Daria, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we'd have 5 Lower Decker main characters then. That would be cool. Nice little expansion pack right there, right?
People are like, ooh, some people are starting to ship her and Mariner, which could be an interesting love triangle.
Was Jennifer
with Jennifer? Yeah.
Ooh.
And also, like, there's also like a Tindy Talin ship. Like everybody's like taking bets on.
Oh.
I think Jennifer and Talin should just cut out the middleman and just go at each
go
other
together.
What color would their baby?
And then just make, I think it'd be funnier because then Mariner would be more miserable, which would make her more bitter and like mean towards Boimler. And then there's just more fun, more hijinks. But if she's happy, she can be all chill and then nothing's going to happen.
Well, she'll get shy. Like when she'll like, what? No, shut up. You know, she does that sort of thing all the time.
So good.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch more YouTube videos in double speed to prepare for the premiere. Just because they all talk so fast. Get my ears
Did
ready.
season 3 end on a cliffhanger? Like season 2 did?
I was trying to remember. I don't remember that it did. Because that was when I don't remember there being a cliffhanger.
Weren't there some cliffhangers of like what was
to...
up with the Breen though? That was going on that other planet. The what planet was that? It was a TNG like deep cut, and the Breen were sneaking around. So there was a question of like, how are they involved?
Oh,
maybe I'm losing my mind.
I have to rewatch part of season 3. I don't really remember now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about these short seasons is that we don't have just 3 months in between seasons like back in the day. We have a year. I mean,
right.
And then in the summer, I'd watch the
Yeah.
reruns every night until like new one started. Like,
well, we have less of an
There's
excuse
nothing
there
else
because
to watch.
we could definitely watch the reruns every single night nowadays. It's way more accessible.
yeah, but the TV had like 3 channels, so
Yeah.
really, I had
no
no
YouTube.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just
Well, at
reminded me
least
that
they're short episodes.
Oh, that's true. Good point.
Yeah,
I was just remembering how I can still hear the sound of my parents' old TV when I was turning the channel dial. What is that? A dial, right? That
Yeah,
click.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
There
my
was the
god! And
VHF
I'd be
and the
like, let me
UHF
just
one,
like
remember?
pull this stupid antenna
Yeah.
Yeah.
and wish really
Everybody
hard.
in the live chat below, just tell us what was the weirdest thing you used as an antenna when you were a kid? Was it aluminum foil? Was it something at Radio Shack? Remember those things?
Oh yeah.
Radio
Love
Shack.
Radio Shack.
Yeah. Was it like Coke can that you cut? Was it like a little sister or a little brother that you it's just stand there and hold it?
Antenna with duct tape.
I may have been the antenna a couple of times.
Oh man, you have to like touch the TV and stand there.
Well, move it and then
Oh,
don't move.
Yeah, or like we have like an Enterprise D model kit that we put together, so it would like stand next to the TV and like the antenna would sort of like lean on it and turn away to get more Star Trek. But okay, so there's a reminder in the live chat that in the season 3 finale you see Chilean come aboard. So,
Oh, okay, great. That's what I thought. I remember something about her at the very end. So it's good. Well, hopefully they continue it. What rank was she? Do you remember?
Ensign, probably, right?
Was she ensign too? Okay.
no idea.
I'm pretty sure, but I am not 100% certain. Maybe she got bumped up. I guess we would have seen the pips when she came aboard, but I think she's still an ensign.
I never know people's ranks. I'm like blind to it. There's a legion in my brain.
There's people like Tom Paris who seem to go back and forth in rank.
Or like TNG when people's pips fall off between scenes and like the person isn't paying attention. So like suddenly Data will be in a turbo lift with one pip.
Did that really happen? I never saw that.
A few times, yeah.
Wow.
I don't
Do
pay
you remember
attention.
do you remember the episode?
I think it comes up later. I can't remember for sure. Google like missing pips. So I'm sure there are websites dedicated to it. Also, my favorite thing at SGLV is when you see like stray pits on the floor. Especially at Masquerade.
It escaped.
Like, ooh, that person had a good night. Like their pips started falling off. They also didn't notice. Someone was like, I need some more pips for my cosplay. I was like, go to Masquerade and check.
Oh my God.
Matt Boardman says she has 2 pips on her collar at the end of season 3.
Oh,
So she's
boy.
a lieutenant.
Now I'm assuming it's going to be Lieutenant Junior grade. I can't imagine that she got bumped up twice in 2 years or a year and a half, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Vulcans just fly right through.
There's a really good one in I think it's Contagion, or else it was last week, where there's an admiral and they hadn't decided how to do that like pip bar. So they put it like vertically. It looks so uncomfortable and weird.
Oh.
Keep an eye out for that.
I heard that, and he made like a little whimper. It was called a pipsqueak that
I
he
like
did.
that. I like that.
Back of the head says Talin is a provisional ensign and their pips are different. And her pips are different.
Oh.
I love when people are provisional or active.
Because she's not really Starfleet. She's like whatever Vulcan thing.
This is so cool. I can't wait for Lower Decks and to find out everything that is going on there, because there are apparently a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Yeah. It'll be fun. It's always a fun ride, even if it is kind of a fever dream sometimes too. It's still a fun ride.
And Iverson last night was a commander because she had 3 pips.
Oh God.
That's funny.
So here's the next item up for bid, everybody. Did you know that Star Trek Day is coming up? And there's a lot going on at Star Trek Day, although it seems like it's different than what we're used to. I don't know if there are going to be more details emerging soon, but here's what we got so far. Mohammed, would you like to read this? This is from a website called StarTrek.com.
Sure. Join Paramount Plus, the CBS television network, CBS Studios, and fans from around the world for the annual Star Trek Day global celebration on Friday, September 8th. This year's special program is hosted by Star Trek Lower Decks Jerry O'Connell on Paramount Plus and features special Star Trek Lower Decks screenings across the US, the UK, and Canada in anticipation of the upcoming 4th season. Special airings of Star Trek Strange New Worlds on CBS and more.
Ooh, and more is cool. What else do we have, Dr. Noor?
So this is going in terms of background. On September 8th, 1966, Star Trek debuted for the first time on television with The Man Trap. On that day, Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry introduced audiences to a world that championed diversity, inclusion, acceptance, and hope. 57 years later, Paramount honors this important day and the franchise's enduring legacy by providing fans with a memorable way to enjoy and celebrate all things Star Trek. Additional information on Paramount Star Trek Day global celebration and initiatives is below.
Check it out. Recognize this background right here? There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Star Trek Day. Gorgeous. Good
Love the
grab,
colors.
Matt Boardman. Anyway, please continue, Dr. Noor.
Sure. Star Trek Day special program hosted by Jerry O'Connell. On September 8th, fans worldwide can watch the Star Trek Day special program hosted by Star Trek Lower Decks Commander Jack Ransom himself, Jerry O'Connell. You might also remember from Sliders. A salute to the franchise. A salute to the franchise. The special program will include segments that look back at memorable moments over the past 57 years, commemorate 50 years of Star Trek animation, pay tribute to Star Trek Discovery ahead of its final season, provide an exclusive sneak peek clip from the upcoming 4th season of Star Trek Lower Decks, and commemorate many other moments that highlight Star Trek's legacy, not the series.
All right, everybody in the live chat, very quickly. Which writer has written for both Star Trek and Sliders?
Ooh.
There is somebody that has written for both Star Trek and Sliders. Don't answer, though. Melissa might have this one. She's like, wait, do I know this one? This is for the live chat.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to know it. I have a feeling
Was it just
Matt Boardman's going to know this one. What?
Was it a writer on Seventh World recently?
It was a writer that has written for 2 Star Trek series,
Yeah, I know.
as well as Sliders.
Pretty sure I know who it is.
Yeah, of course.
DJ
I know you
Picard,
know,
I
Melissa. The first one to get it right is Montana's own
Oh.
War Dogheim, who says it's got to be Mark Zickrey.
Yeah.
You are right. He wrote the first episode, or the first contact episode of The Next Generation, the episode, not the movie. He also got a story by credit for what was the DS9 episode? Thank you. Far Beyond the Stars. And he wrote several episodes, I believe, on Sliders.
Mhm.
Very cool. Somebody mentioned, a couple of people mentioned Tracy Torme. Possible. Maybe there's more than one. Wow, that's pretty cool. Sounds like a lot of people are confirming that Tracy Torme may have definitely been a second one. And Tim McCaffrey says Melinda Snodgrass. Boy, this would
I
be
thought
crazy.
I thought her and also maybe Deborah Davis.
Oh, wow.
I thought, but I don't know. I don't really know what Sliders is. I only recognize it from people.
You don't know
on
what
Star
Sliders?
Trek TV.
You know, I watched Sliders a bit when I was a kid because it had Gimli in it. That's where I was introduced to Gimli, Jonathan Rhys Davies, if I remember correctly. And then it had
Reese. Yeah.
Reese. Thank you.
Yeah.
Maestro.
And then it had, but I don't remember the other 2 people.
I remember those 2, but I don't remember the rest.
Or 4 main characters. Anyway, all right, so let's move on past that and on to a little bit more of Star Trek Day stuff, because this is happening next Friday, September 8th, as it always does. Always does September 8th, not on a Friday. Mohammed, if you would continue on right here, please.
Surely. Where to watch the Star Trek Day special program. The Star Trek Day special will be available to watch for free globally on StarTrek.com/day, on YouTube at the Paramount Plus and Star Trek official pages, on Twitch at the Paramount Plus channel, on Facebook at Star Trek on P Plus and at Star Trek. In the US, the special will be available to stream on Paramount Plus, on Pluto TV, there's a lot of variants thereof, and on Mixable. The special will also air on select CBS affiliates, Comedy Central, it's a funny one, Paramount Network, Pop TV, Fave TV, and Smithsonian.com.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. Star Trek's Strange New World special airings on CBS. the CBS television network will broadcast the first 2 episodes of the hit Paramount Plus original series, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, with back-to-back special airings beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm assuming that means 5 p.m. Pacific Time. So that's weird. A little. I was like, I don't understand what that means. Anyway, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, episode 101, season premiere or series premiere. When one of Pike's officers goes missing while on a secret mission for Starfleet, Pike, played by Anson Mount, has to come out of self-imposed exile. He must navigate how to rescue his officer while struggling with what to do with the vision of the future he's been given. Teleplay by Akiva Goldsman, story by Akiva Goldsman, Alex Kurtzman, and Jenny Lumet, directed by Akiva Goldsman. The other episode is Children of the Comet, episode 102. I love that one. While on a survey mission, the USS Enterprise discovers a comet is going to strike an inhabited planet. The crew tries to reroute the comet, only to find that an ancient alien relic buried on the comet's icy surface is somehow stopping them. As the away team tries to unlock the relic's secrets, Ike, played by Anson Mount, and Number One, played by Rebecca Romaine, deal with a group of zealots who want to prevent the USS Enterprise from interfering. Written by Henry Alonzo Myers and more.
Did somebody say ancient aliens?
Yeah.
It's a fun show.
Yeah.
The meme of that guy with the Greek last
Yes.
name that goes like aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie is very confused right now. She does not know it. He kind of looks like a Kazon, right?
Yeah, he
He
does.
does kind of, I mean, he does have Chase on here, yeah.
But also kind of
Always.
looks like one of those Babylon 5 aliens. What are those guys? The guys with like the sideways mohawk. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
Babylon 5 aliens. Anne-Marie,
the Centauri.
yeah, the Centauri. Thank you. All right. I think there's a bit more to this. Boy, it really. Yeah, so we'll just fly through this. I'll read this part here. Star Trek: The Animated Celebration. Oh, this is something very interesting for me. The animated universe of Star Trek began 50 years ago on September 8th with Star Trek: The Animated Series. This Star Trek Day commemorates the 50th anniversary with an evening of cartoon comedy, including 4 specially selected episodes of the hit animated series, Star Trek Lower Decks. Fans can attend these exclusive free promotional screenings and experience the brand new season of Star Trek Lower Decks on the big screen. The day is jam-packed with sneak peeks and surprises, free concessions, giveaways, and more. What I want to know about is, here it is, this part. All screenings are free to attend, and fans can register at Star Trek Animated Celebration screenings on Thursday, August 24th. So everybody get on that. You better hurry. The special Star Trek Lower Decks fan screenings will take place in all those cities. When I was hoping we'd find out more about the Star Trek Animated Celebration episodes, but I'm assuming those are going to air. Some or all of those are going to air at these screenings, right?
There's not one in LA.
I'm very curious. Well, I think they did it purposely to make sure like more cities are involved, and like it is the same people going to these things like every time when they're in LA and New York.
True.
But yeah.
The last thing, it says special Star Trek Day merchandise and sale on September 8th. Fans can use code Star Trek Day. That's all one word, Star Trek Day, for 25% off site-wide at
Star Trek Day is landing.
So that's 25% off at shop.startrekday.com, and Star Trek Day is the code, all one
That's
word.
nice, since they're shipping it so much. When I got the Starship is Landing stickers, I bought like 4, and then it was like $8 shipping.
But yeah, you're right. No New York, no LA. It's all a bunch of other cities: Columbus, Dallas, Denver, Philadelphia, Phoenix, San Diego, St. Louis, Washington, D.C., Vancouver, Calgary, and London. Different countries too. Wow.
Mm.
Super awesome. I love that it's going to be on TV on all those channels. I feel like that is so wonderful. Just like everybody has nostalgia about Star Trek, whether they watch it or not. So it's really great for that, like the trailer or teaser trailer they showed for the promo just looks amazing. I feel like it's going to be so good for like a mass audience to see that and be reminded like, oh yeah, I felt like an episode of Star Trek. I love that. Like, I'll go check it out. Plus, like the music of Star Trek, it's impossible not to feel nostalgic about it, no matter like if you watch it or not.
I think when I was going to Vegas, the guy who was sitting next to me had never watched Strange New Worlds, and I convinced him to actually watch it on the Delta flight, since that is now the new home of all Star Trek.
Yeah.
But he watched like the first 2 episodes, and he was all in for Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Exactly.
So it's nice to see that. It's nice to see it like now being on CBS, where anybody who has access to CBS can watch it. So much
And like,
broader.
there is a little bit of like, some people were reporting like, whoa, they're already looking to like, they have such a like loose amount of programming in the fall. They're trying to bring Star Trek over. I'm like, it's just 2 episodes for one day. I mean, it's kind of misleading. Some people report it. Some outlets reported that it's like Strange New Worlds is going to TV. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing that, but that's not what this is. But that promo is good. I can't wait to see it. And on every channel, that's just awesome.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor also MTV. I don't know if that's true. So.
By the way, I forgot to say the results of the poll earlier. The question was, out of the final 2 Strange New Worlds episodes, which will make, or how many will make the top 10 in streaming? 3% of you said 0. Mohammed, I told you not to vote on these.
Wasn't me. I voted 2.
14% of you said, yeah, split the difference, one of them. And 81% said it's going to be both. We're going to finish 8 out of 10. That's it. That's the rule.
Great.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
All right.
So can we, or unless you're going to talk about Star Trek anymore,
No,
this
moving on.
Lower Decks cast talks about big change for season 4. I feel like it's the natural progression of this. It's on Trek
Yeah.
Movie.
That's
The what?
exciting.
It's on Trek Movie. The Lower Decks. Big changes for season 4. It's so exciting.
Okay. Well, this is from our good friends at trekmovie.com.
Corey Elster.
This article is entitled Star Trek Lower Decks Cast Talks About the Big Change for Season 4.
Ooh.
The
Very good.
animated, I'll do this one. Thank you. The animated adult comedy Star Trek Lower Decks returns in just 2 weeks, and now the cast is talking about the big new thing for season 4. Whoa. Hang on. The big new thing? What the heck is, what's going on here? Spoiler alert, it says.
Alert.
Well,
Okay,
now I'm
I'm
worried.
listening.
Should we not read this aloud if it's going to contain
Oh,
spoilers?
are we going to start having silent reading? Like it's first grade. I think it's okay.
Well, we're going to do a poll right now to find out.
Okay. Oh, I like that idea.
People are already commenting on it in the chat.
All right. So the question is, should we read the spoiler alert and everything that it entails? I should say, not just read spoiler alert, because we already did that. And the possible options are yup or nope. Now it's going to need to be at least 80% say yup, because then the 20% that say nope, they're going to be like, well, I don't want to watch this show anymore. And then we'll be so sad.
Oh,
So the
Very
yups
close to
really
that
got to
right now.
show up today. The yups really got to show up. While they are doing that, let me just pull this up very quickly. All right, so we're looking at the poll. We're going to close it, and whatever happens, happens.
Pretty decisive.
So the results are, yep, it got 83%. Okay, we're doing it. Insta poll 2023. Thank you for participating. All right. So there's people are hinting at things. And here are some quotes from some of the actors. Tawny Newsome says, regarding Beckett Mariner, She tries to give this promotion back 80 times, which I can understand. She does accept it because she realizes she can still do her thing. She can still do some good. She can still be a little chaotic. She believes, I'm still a lower decker. I'm still a scrappy underdog.
Ooh.
Jack Quaid, who plays Brad Boimler, says, I love that the lower deckers got promoted. Boimler has his first away mission that he is leading, and he is nervous, to say the least. He doesn't want anyone to get hurt. He eventually must learn to trust his friends and trust the process. So I guess they are all...
Aww. I like this spoiler.
Yeah, the
They're all
gang is getting promoted. All of
promoted.
them.
Now they're just low. They're not lower.
Yeah.
Well,
Middle
they're
decks.
lower than, they're not lowest decks.
Yeah.
So Noelle Wells, who plays Devana Tendi, says, Tendi is very excited about being promoted. She's come to Starfleet with this hope of being assimilated, but secretly she's finding this well of power within herself. Being promoted is a natural extension of all the hard work she is doing. And Eugene Cordero, who plays Sam Rutherford, says, I think Rutherford has a fear of moving up or advancing too fast. I think he'd be worried to move to a different ship or be placed in a different world where he would have to give orders. That's an issue they're all having, but I think Rutherford would have the toughest time.
I don't remember his first name was Sam.
It's Sam. It's something weird. It's not Samuel. Samantha. Yeah, Samantha,
Yeah.
I think.
I've never heard anybody call him Sam, though. At least not ever.
And here's the official synopsis for the new season. In season 4 of Star Trek Lower Decks, an unknown force is destroying starships and threatening galactic peace. Luckily, the crew of the... Wait a minute, that's a Discovery synopsis. No, I'm just kidding. It's destroying starships and threatening galactic peace. Luckily, the crew of the USS Cerritos isn't important enough for stuff like that. Instead, ensigns Mariner, Boimler, Tendi, Rutherford, and provisional ensign T'Lyn are keeping up with their Starfleet duties, avoiding malevolent computers and getting stuck in a couple caves, all while encountering new and classic aliens along the way. You know, what's funny is I made the joke that sounds like a Discovery thing, but that's what's so great about Lower Decks is they're like, oh yeah, big shows, they cover those things, but that's happening. But we're not a part of it. We're over here on the other side cleaning stuff while everybody's
dark
saving.
matter anomaly alone.
Yeah. So that's a fun one.
I wonder
excited.
how they're going to interact with the new lower deckers.
Oh, good question. Or what was the group like Delta Shift or whatever they didn't like?
Yeah. that was awesome.
Was it Delta Shift?
Or something like that. I don't
Something
remember.
like that.
Alpha Shift, Beta Shift, Gamma Shift. I don't remember.
I feel like Mordecai would remember. He's
Yeah,
always
we
good
need
at
Jellicoe to
deciding.
tell us. He knows.
Mm.
Okay, so this is from, look, here's the news that everybody should know by now. And it is from a website called twitter.com.
Oh, yeah.
Peter J. Hutchinson, call him Hutch, says Star Trek Prodigy has taken to the skies. The banner is flying over Netflix. Now, this was a few days ago. If you didn't know, now you know. Star Trek fans got a plane to fly over with a banner that says "Save Star Trek Prodigy" over Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon. So those are probably the three likely ones.
With like another thing that they're doing with Prodigy,
Oh,
which I sent you the link that tweets to.
I don't know about that, but if it's got anything to do with Dan and Kevin Hageman,
love them.
then, I got some gardeners cutting things right outside. I hope y'all don't hear that. The tweet is from Dan and Kevin Hageman, who says, "Save Star Trek Prodigy, sign the petition." This is an important reminder for everybody to sign and share that petition. Keep that thing moving, keep it going until we get the news that we are all waiting for which we are all waiting.
Right. So I just sent you the Facebook Messenger link again, or it's a good errand link.
Referring to the handle and not an evaluation of somebody named Aaron.
Both.
It's both.
Love
So
that.
this is also our good friend, Aaron J. Waltke at Good Aaron. He says, this is beyond incredible. The Save Star Trek Prodigy campaign is now literally heading into space. Because he quote tweets Peter J. Hutchinson, call him Hutch. Can you read that, Muhammad? I got to mute myself. This Gardner's loud.
Sure. Last week, hashtag Star Trek Prodigy took to the skies, flying a banner over Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and Apple TV. Now, thanks to Club for Future, the protostar is headed to space aboard Blue Origin. Hashtag Save Star Trek Prodigy. Hashtag Earth needs space. Hashtag Launch the North. Hashtag Launch the Klingons.
That's pretty Prodigy art.
Yeah, Blue Origin. That's exciting.
I mean, it's not the photo op of the banner, but it's amazing.
Yeah. So do you know what exactly does that mean? Is there just like, is there somebody taking a banner and putting it on the rocket, or like what's happening?
Yeah, my guess is that they put that like mail into it. I think you can just pay to have things shot into space though. Like Tic Tacs did that. Yeah. But I mean, it's just like a cool thing to tweet about.
That is cool. The protostar is not landing; it's taking off.
Yeah. And then,
all right. So
I had one other fun tweet thing from the news. If you wanted to, that isn't Prodigy, but let me resend you the link.
All right.
Unless you want to talk about Prodigy more.
Well, everybody should go to the Hollywood Reporter because it was covered by the Hollywood Reporter. Check this one out. We won't read the whole thing. We've got the Hollywood Reporter, Star Trek Prodigy banner flown over Netflix offices in an effort to save the show. This is pretty much just like for the masses. Us Star Trek fans, we know the facts behind all of this, but it's really cool. I think the bigger news is just that this was covered by the Hollywood Reporter.
Yes.
That's really big news. That is really cool. Next, we've got a tweet from a friend of ours called Roxanne Dawson.
So let me just line this one up. I don't really see her tweet that often, especially not about Star Trek that often. So, I mean, it's just, I won't say run-of-the-mill article, but one of the articles about like who you'd like to see come back and like who's the best Klingon. And she's clearly keeping an eye on Star Trek and retweeted this.
What did she retweet?
So she retweeted Screenrant's article, Star Trek Voyager's B'Elanna is more Klingon than TNG's Worf ever was. Which is interesting, since she's also half Klingon. But obviously, like, Worf was raised.
Fair.
But anyway, just the fact that she said, I think a Worf and B'Elanna spinoff is in order. I was like, I don't think I've ever heard her say she would come back and play B'Elanna. So, I mean, I never heard her say she wouldn't, but just for her to comment, I thought was awesome.
That's also a very interesting article. I don't want to call it clickbait, but it definitely is baiting me to click on it.
Well,
I definitely
get kind of triggered by it, to be honest, because I'm like, it doesn't. If nobody's more one thing than another. I don't like judging people who are mixed race and stuff, but it's a cool topic.
Well, I think it's interesting because B'Elanna is half Klingon. So for a writer to say that a half Klingon is more of a Klingon than a full Klingon, that's what makes me curious. I want to know. I want to be like, I want to say, explain yourself.
You're assuming nature over nurture. Nurture-wise, Worf basically was raised by humans, whereas B'Elanna was raised by a Klingon, or by a Klingon mom. So
maybe that's the argument they make.
Who's to say what real Klingon is?
Yeah, well, also Worf. I think that many, many, many times in Star Trek they have talked about how Klingon Worf actually is, and they've even made comments about like Klingons laugh. Worf never laughs. I've seen things like that where we think Worf is super Klingon until we compare him to other Klingons that are drinking and laughing and partying and they want to be savages, and Worf is all uptight and he's like, I do not think that drinking is inappropriate or whatever he says.
Well, he was raised by humans, but he's done a lot of research on Klingons and being Klingon, and he's very abreast of his heritage. So maybe he holds on to that more seriously than Klingons raised by Klingons, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Good argument.
Absolutely,
My
because he
point
does
is that
research.
Roxanne is tweeting about Star Trek, and that is
Yeah.
it doesn't happen that often.
That's true. She
Very
definitely,
cool.
it's very rare. In fact, it seems like she's never tweeting about Star Trek. And to not only see her tweeting about Star Trek, but to tweet about it favorably, whether it's tongue in cheek or
it's
whether
been
she's
a-
trying to nudge them. Maybe she's like, hey, I'm a big time, big shot director, but I wouldn't mind getting my acting chops back together
Which I would
again.
love. I'd love Milana. She's amazing. She's like such an underrated character.
Mhm. Great stuff there. Now also, this is interesting. Oh, this is a fun little thing, everybody. Check this out. This is our friend Shar Schmidt, who
Oh
you know
my god!
from.
The soap.
This link only touches the tip of the iceberg of the soap discussion that has gone down on Instagram and Twitter this week.
No, what it is
great.
Shar Schmidt tweeted about Prodigy today. And no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's the soap. So you can find her at the Profanity. She says Murph and Rock Talk soaps won't be done curing until September 15th, but you can pre-order them now, so you get them once they're ready to ship. Once they're gone, it might be a little while before they're back, so I can try even more designs. Basically, Shar is making Prodigy related soaps. Look at Murph here. That's totally Murph.
Yeah.
And this
Totally.
is totally Rock Talk. That's so
So this
cute.
became like such a thing over the weekend because Shari just shared the Murph one, and then Erin Wilkie got involved, and she was like, she made Murph smell like Murph the lavender one, and so then Erin Wilkie was like, if we get to season 3, we're gonna make Murph canonically smell like lavender, and then Rock Talk Riley got involved and was like, this is amazing. Then Shari's like, well, I happen to be like dabbling in Rock Talk soap. And she asked Riley what Rock Talk should smell like. And Riley said berries. So now that one does smell like berries in honor of Rock Talk. And then Riley put it like all over Instagram and like links to this. And it's just, it's been an amazing like thread on 2 different platforms to read through.
Totally.
So highly recommend checking out the Profanities accounts on Instagram and Twitter. And I just love how like the Prodigy cast and crew are so into the show and into this kind of thing and supporting fans who are excited about it and doing projects for it. It couldn't be more fun.
Yep. And we love Shar, so go support her, everybody. Go support people's endeavors. That is very important, especially their creative endeavors. People put their hearts and souls into projects, and it's a very vulnerable position to be in. They sit there and they think is this even good? They have, they think, is this good? Will people like it? Am I just embarrassing myself? We all have imposter syndrome. We all think, that's it. This is the creation that's going to finally do me in, where people go, wait a minute, this guy sucks. Everybody thinks that. All writers, all artists. Yeah, that's it.
Every single time.
So to help them to think that less, it'll always happen, but we'll think it less if you support and encourage things. Even if you don't have the money to go purchase something, say something nice. Especially on something like that, it's easy to say something nice because it's super creative and fun.
Well said.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lastly, on a website called, this is also Twitter. This is a screenshot, which is very interesting to me, hopefully to you as well. This is from at Las Vegas locally. One of the newly remodeled Ipanema Tower guest rooms at the Rio, designed to look like apartments near Ipanema Beach in Rio de Janeiro. How do they say it?
De Janeiro.
But sometimes they don't even pronounce do they say Rio de Janeiro? I don't know.
Heel. Yes, that would be more accurate. Heel.
A total of 1,427 rooms and suites are being renovated. So to get a better look at those pictures, a few people have been posting those online, including our good friend Heather Ray Barker from Mission Log, and also from the Star Trek Experiences group. So check out these pictures. So here is a newly renovated Rio suite. They call them all suites. Now I'm going to be Mr. Nitpick here. My first thought is putting a couch in the middle of the room just really hurts my eyes. Like, I really like space efficiency. And when you have a room this big, why not use it? But it does look really cool. The furniture is beautiful, super creative and colorful. It's an L-shaped couch, which I never see in hotels. So it can actually be like a lie down bed. It's got a little table here. What do you guys think?
Ooh, looks a little bit like a spine. Like a slice out of a spine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. But my first thought was my shins, but the table looks padded, so maybe it won't hurt to bump into them.
I don't really use furniture in hotels anyway. So I'm like, I'm gonna be sat here naked, like, ugh. So, but it's nice to see like the carpet definitely is sort of ripped up. It'll be a nice facelift, but I love the Rio.
Yeah, it's a fun hotel.
And I like
And
that
actually,
lamp.
I love their current art. They have like really beautiful flower pictures framed. Like every year, I'm like, I just take one of these, but that looks nice.
It's a nice couch.
What's up with the pillow?
Definitely.
Yeah,
I would have, honestly, I would have put the L-shaped couch over here up against the
Yeah.
window, not fully up against it, obviously, like a foot in between. And then you could put the TV over here between the bathroom and the front door, this table here, or move this table over there, and then the bed over here more. And I feel like it would just open up this middle space completely. I like
Definitely
open
made
rooms.
like a New York studio when you try and make your space like 2 rooms.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
their rooms are big, so there's no reason to do that.
And is that a refrigerator? And what is that against
Yeah,
the
usually
wall?
it's got to be a refrigerator and maybe like
They
a
have, like
safe.
a real mini bar now.
Mm.
But they got rid of, like, sometimes they have like desks or something, but they got rid of that.
Yeah. Well, they
Anyway,
have that table.
Oh, I use the desk.
This is
They
from
have
the
the
other
table.
angle. You can see there's the TV still there with an interesting little table. Looks like they should hold candles below it. Well, actually, not under a TV. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so smart of them to go back to leaning into their name, like
Yeah.
Rio.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
Yeah.
why did you guys like not lean into this theme for like 10 years?
That's a good point. It is interesting. Emory is kind of trying to make it into sort of a 2-room thing.
Mhm. Yeah, it's also important. The reason we bring that up is because Star Trek Las Vegas Creation Entertainment's big convention in Las Vegas, early August every year, takes place at the Rio. So anytime there's any Rio news, I always, and I'm sure a lot of Star Trek fans always kind of lean in and go, all right, what's going on? Are we actually going to get the renovation they're always talking about this time? Or what's going on?
I'm always hoping not, because I love their like low price, but that's just me, I think.
Totally. And the last picture is of their new shower.
Oh my gosh.
There's a model
There's a little
already
window
in there
from the bedroom
modeling,
anymore.
soaping up. So everybody cover your eyes.
No, but it's so pretty. I mean, it's prettier than the other, the way it looked before.
Looks like a bunch of candy bars, like white chocolate, milk chocolate, nuts.
Oh my gosh, now I'm hungry.
Stripy chocolate.
It was funny last year with the little window to the bedroom. Like, why is there a window to the bedroom from inside the shower?
I've heard about that. I've never.
What's
had one of
worse
those
than
shirts,
that
luckily.
is the window from the bedroom to the shower. Like, I don't mind
Yeah.
them being able to look in the bedroom, but like, do you really want?
But like that's such a Vegas thing. Like Cosmopolitan, I stayed with like a bunch of girls for a bachelorette party, and it was so awkward. Like the whole wall was open. It was so uncomfortable and weird. And I don't know why Vegas thinks that's peak class, but it's not. I hate that.
So the question is, if if you had the option to get that room fully renovated, new carpets, new everything for 25% more, the room costs 25%. So instead of say $100 a day, it would be $125 a day, for example. Would you do it, or would you say, I'll take the raggedy asshole room and the discount, it's good enough?
The latter.
Same.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying people should do
Not like
that.
sitting around the hotel.
Exactly. Like we just go through to sleep and then we leave.
Mhm.
I mean, look, it looks beautiful. It's super creative. I love it. I'm very happy with it, personally. But, I'm always like, whatever. I'll wear flip-flops when I'm walking around the world. But obviously, some people are going to say, no way, I'll pay a few extra bucks to have a brand new, beautiful room that looks amazing.
Everybody in the chat so far agrees too. They want the raggedy room.
Feel like home.
Yeah, I know.
I shouldn't have called it the raggedy room. I feel so bad. I actually love the Rio. I'm very happy with them. I love that they have so much space. They have big rooms. They have a big convention area. I'm actually very
so
happy with the
clean.
Rio.
It's not one of the hotels that's getting docked for having bed bugs like this week.
Yeah, there was a huge list of them, and we all looked for the Rio on there, and it was not there.
Yes. Go
Yes.
Rio. Good job.
I was very happy with my room this year.
Thanks.
So,
It was
it's
fun.
always so clean. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
All right.
close up of those tiles makes me like them less. They look better from afar. But I like the idea of the tiles in the shower. But
We have a saying for that. It's good from afar, but far from good.
Oh,
A lot
yeah.
of bros
I love
out there
that.
know that one.
Or girls.
Anyway, yep, a lot of people, a lot of humans.
people.
Or
Look,
the odds are good, but the goods are odd. Another good one.
that one's funny. I hadn't
Yeah.
heard that one before.
Mhm. They go hand in hand.
Well, let's talk about
Trivia time?
the week ahead. Yes, please, Dr. Noor. Thanks for
Oh, I
reminding
have
us.
a dastardly one for everybody. I apologize in advance. This
Look
is
at
the
that
only one for the
smile.
month, so this is
Love that.
dastardly.
Word.
Hopefully I'll slow down Glenn Iverson just a tiny bit so he doesn't get it in 2
Yes.
seconds. It'll be like 10 seconds instead of 2. So name somebody's name. Name a writer for a modern Trek series that has a PhD. It's not me or Dr. Aaron McDonald, just to be clear. It's neither of us. And whose first and last name can be anagrammed to describe a conversation between two captains of the Enterprise pre-Kirk. I'll read it again.
Please.
Name a writer for a modern Trek series that has a PhD. It's neither me nor Dr. Aaron McDonald, and whose first and last name can be anagrammed to describe a conversation between two captains of the Enterprise pre-Kirk.
I had a Graham named Anna. I didn't really, though. So that's a really good one, Mohammed. It's going to be a really tough one. You told me this before, and you told us this one before we recorded. So I had a chance to think on it a little bit. I don't have it yet, but I'm going to put my thinking.
Billion years, I would never get it.
I'm going to put my thinking out loud as soon as we talk about the week ahead. First, though, the week previous, at least the 14.3% of it, which was yesterday, that's like 1/7, right? 14.3, something like that. I don't know, 14.2. The point is, if there is one, that yesterday on the 7th rule, we released our full review of Star Trek: The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 5, Loud as a Whisper. So go check that out on the 7th Rule YouTube channel. Right now, full thing is available right there. Now, tomorrow, that's Wednesday, on the Falling Tower YouTube channel, check out the Watch the First podcast. We are now opening up. Oh, no, not quite yet. We are finishing up Superhero Month. Next month will be Saturday morning cartoons, everybody. What fun. But first, we are doing a superhero month, which is extremely fun for us. And at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time on the Falling Tower YouTube channel this Wednesday, we have X-Men Evolution with our good friend Colleen Cruz, who is a costumer and a cosplayer. Check it out. She's a lot of fun, really cool, really cerebral, kind of like Cerebro from X-Men Evolution. So check that out. Then on Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, come right back to this channel. That is the Virtual TrekCon channel. And we've got Star Trek and Chill live, just like this one, but a ton of fun. This one's fun too. And on that channel, on that day on Star Trek and Chill this Friday, we will announce what's up with next Tuesday. What is up with next Tuesday? Here's a hint. Today is the main viewer's 99th episode. Once again, today is the main viewer's 99th episode. It is also the second to last episode of our second season. So in other words, next week is going to be our 100th episode, which happens to coincide with our season finale. It's just a coincidence. We didn't plan it that way. Episode 100 is also our season finale. So that's going to be a big day, and we'll give you all the details on Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time on the Star Trek and Chill live show. Check that out. Now, lastly, on Sunday, this coming Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, that's 12 p.m. Eastern time, we have our first segment review of Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2, Episode 10, The Dauphin, or as the French call it,
Dauphin.
That's right, Le Dauphin. So everybody check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun.
And it was La Dauphine.
That's right.
That'd be crazy.
But that would have an E at the end,
But
which
it's about
this
a
one
girl.
does not. Actually, I think that's actually a name. Oh, no, Delphine. It's a fun name.
Yeah, Dauphine, like an Orphan Black.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Dr. Nor's trivia question. Did anybody even get close yet? Because
BL got close. BL got part of it. So I'll give a hint.
Here,
The anagram. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, here was my thinking. Okay. My thinking is the key is
You're
you
never
said
gonna get it.
pre-Kirk, right? So pre-Kirk to me narrowed it down to 3 or 2 captains. Now, if we're talking about any Enterprise, then that means it's Archer, Pike, April. If we're talking about just the Kirk's Enterprise, then it's Pike and April. So, but then you figure, does it have to be Pike and April? It might be Christopher and Robert.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be Archer. It could be Jonathan. It could be John talking to Chris, for example. So the way I narrowed it down was I was thinking, okay, look, probably going to be Pike related. So what writers of the 5 previous shows after, 2017 post have a K in their name? That's what I was thinking. Who's got a K in their name? Kevin Hageman. Okay, but I can't really fit the others in there. I thought about Michelle Paradise. You could get April out of Michelle Paradise. You can also get Archer out of Michelle Paradise, but it didn't really give me anything else. So my answer is, I racked my brain, but I could not think of a writer that has a K, a P, could maybe fit these things in there, but that's as close as I got. What about in the live chat?
Dave Gregory got it.
Yeah.
But I did give the hint. I give the hint, which is the anagram. The anagram was April told Pike, or Pike told April. It's an anagram, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So once you have April told Pike, the correct answer is Erica Lippold, who has a PhD in neurobiology.
Yes.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. That is
Erica
an
with
A
a K.
plus.
It's not Erica with a C.
So good.
Yeah.
A plus. Very good.
That was a tough trivia question, but it's the only one for the whole month, so I got to make it a new.
I wonder, I feel like without the anagram hint that you gave, people could have gotten it, but they would have needed a little bit more time, because that is a toughie, especially with 5 shows, or 6 if you count short treks.
Mhm.
Anyway, the point is, Melissa Longo, where can everybody find you online? What would you like to promote? What's going on with you?
I'm Melissa Longo on social media, and introvertedrepublic.com, and Walking Art Made by Melissa by Patreon, and stuff like that.
Sorry, Melissa, I know you had no idea we were going to ask that question. She was so thrown off by it.
Sometimes your brain goes somewhere else, and it's like, okay, back on track.
That happens every time I'm trying to read out loud.
Great shirts too at the Introverted Republic. Check them out.
Dr. Noor, what about you? What would you like to promote before we go?
You can follow me on socials, all the socials.
What's your YouTube channel?
I'll come back to that. At Mafnoor, MAF like Frank, N like November, OOR, or on YouTube as Biotrekkie, BIOTREKKIE. There might be an episode next week. We'll see. Also, if anybody's going to Dragon Con, I have 4 panels at Dragon Con this weekend.
Wow,
That's
busy
amazing.
guy.
Make sure you post like a slide with them for Virtual TrekCon,
We'll do.
the Virtual TrekCon group. That's amazing.
Robert Kaiser says, is this about Erica Lippold? He says she also co-developed the first variant of the pilot for the Section 31 series. That's
I know she
interesting.
was originally supposed to be
True.
slated for that. Yeah.
Wow, great knowledge, guys. So everybody, check out Dr. Noor's YouTube channel. Do you have a date for when an episode might drop?
Probably the same time a new episode of Star Trek drops. If it were to happen, it might
That's
be
a good bet.
Might be associated with that. So maybe next Thursday, like a week from Thursday, not 2 weeks.
What about you, Dr. Anne Marie Siegel? What would you like to promote today before we go?
Twitter at Anne-Marie Siegel1. Oh my God, I hadn't done the math that Star Trek Day is a week from this Thursday. For some reason, I thought there was an extra week in there. Wow.
9 days. And everybody, you can find me online on Twitter at RyanTGHusk. That's at RyanTGHusk, or Virtual TrekCon, 7th Rule, or Falling Tower on your favorite social media, especially YouTube. Also, check out this shirt, man. Get yourself a cool shirt. You can also get this as a candle. There is nothing more romantic than Captain Picard's thigh cleavage on a candle when you are, I don't know, reading a book or whatever.
I believe there's like a Rise Up party on the Star Trek cruise this year too, which that would be wonderful for.
Mm-hmm. Rise and shine. So thanks everybody for joining in the fun. We appreciate you. Robert Kaiser, Dave Gregory, War Dogheim, BL, Bob D, the Matt Boardman, Glenn Iverson, Rose Kirby, John Ford, and everybody Volk. We see y'all. We appreciate y'all. The Trek Reviewer. All right.
I have to apologize to War Dog. I accidentally timed him out in the chat. Just my finger slipped. I'm sorry. War Dog.
Did you untime him out?
We would never.
Can you undo it? I don't know how to undo it.
Oh, I guess it just goes away if you do a timeout, right? It just goes away.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to. Just my finger slipped. I was going to say thanks to Glenn Iverson, and my finger slipped, and War Dogheim's name was right there.
That's like some kind of badge of honor. He's the first guy we've ever muted by accident.
No, I did one once before too.
Okay, second guy. Sorry, War Dog. No,
wow,
no
you are
first
drunk
sleep.
on power, Mom.
Yeah. He's like, oh, what'd you say? Oops. All right, everybody. Thanks very much for joining us. We will see you soon. Remember, Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time for another live show. It's going to be a lot of fun and all the goodies before then as well. We'll see y'all soon. And when you want to get drunk on power, put it on the main viewer.
Don't forget to watch the first of this.